I'm Victoria, and this is What Victoria Read. Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are in my spare room in this slightly weird setup. At the time of filming this, and actually I'm filming it the day before it goes up, which I hardly ever do, I haven't filmed a sit-down video in 6 weeks. Took a little break. Basically school and life just got in the way. And I've had kind of a reading and creating slump, but you will see all about that in my May wrap-up, which is coming next weekend. And yeah, I'm having to film in here. Life's a bit chaotic. We've got Charlie now for half term, and I can't really be like taking up the lounge to film in, so we're making do. I didn't want to not put a June TBR up. I nearly didn't. I nearly just put it in like the beginning of next month's wrap up, but I want to show you these books. It's very ambitious. There are 10 books here, and my reading pace has been a lot slower the last 2 months, so I'm not convinced I'm going to get through them all, but we will give it a go. If you haven't been here before, if this is your first video from me, I don't choose my own TBR because it's too difficult. And so since last year, I've had a variety of different people and games and methods to find my TBRs each month. And this month, my baby brother, Ben, very kindly put together my reading list for me. My brother is amazing. He does watch my videos, so hello. He's probably cringing and throwing things at the screen by now. But he's amazing. He is an archaeologist. He is incredibly intelligent. He's incredibly interesting. His job is fascinating. And yeah, he's just, you know, one of the best humans around. He's also very kind. He's very funny. We've both got the same very sarcastic sense of humour. Quite often when I am looking at myself in the mirror looking at outfits, I can usually hear his voice in my head either telling me absolutely not put it back or you look amazing. So that's nice. And yeah, I just thought it'd be fun to have him choose my TBR this month. It's very literary fiction heavy, which I was fully expecting. I think when you ask people to set TBRs, you can kind of predict the things they're going to choose based on their own reading taste. And I've got my screen up here, my laptop screen, because he sent me a WhatsApp message with reasons why he chose each book. So I'm going to go through those. I've also got 4 books, because I'm a masochist, that I have put on the TBR myself. I'm going to start with those, then I'm going to go into the books that Ben chose. And then we're going to cross our fingers and hope that I manage to actually read some of these this month, because the mood reading is starting to get out of hand. But that is for my May wrap up and probably my June wrap up, but this is what we're going to try. So 4 books that I have put on the TBR myself. The first is my reread for the month. You can actually see what's left of my reread stack just here. And I've gone for Take a Hint, Danny Brown by Talia Hibbert. This is basically to balance out some of the literary fiction. I love reading literary fiction, and it was fully what I expected Ben to choose, and also the books that he's chosen I'm really excited for. However, my brain will need a little bit of a break, and I think this is where Danny Brown will come in. This is the second in the Brown Sisters trilogy. I've read all 3 before, that's why it's a reread. That's how rereading works. And I always say that Danny is my favourite, but I haven't actually reread the series, so I'm going to read this again and we will see. This is a fake dating trope. We've got Danny, who is doing her PhD. I think she's a professor at a university. And then we've got Zaf, who is the security guard at the university. And something happens one day and they have this like moment that goes viral and they decide to fake date, and it goes from there. I absolutely loved it. I gave the whole trilogy, I think, 5 stars. And I'm really excited to go back and spend some more time with Danny and Zaf. Danny is, I've always said, is my favourite of the sisters because she is the most like me in terms of her very sharp, sarcastic sense of humour. I mean, she's doing a PhD, so she's way more intelligent than me, but I just kind of click with her most. And I absolutely love Zaf. I think he's my favourite of the male leads as well. So yeah, excited to reread that. Then I have let's do this in a different order. The audiobook I'm going to read this month was also a gift from Ben, so it felt like a very appropriate time to read this book, but I've decided to go for the audiobook, and that book is Sally Rooney's Beautiful World, Where Are You? Ben gifted me this for Christmas, and literally like the week before he gave it to me, he saw my unhaul where I unhauled Normal People, I think, and I was like, I'm done with Sally Rooney, she's not an author for me. He'd already bought this, wrapped it and put it under the Christmas tree, so when I opened it he was like, you don't have to read it. I'm going to read it. I mean, how beautiful is this cover? I am going into it with an open mind. It's a couple of years since I read a Sally Rooney. I feel like I've read a lot more literary fiction now than I had when I first read her, and we'll give this a try. But I have decided to pick up an audiobook. I am travelling a bit in June, which you'll also see in due course, and I think that having this on audiobook will be a good thing. So that's going to be the audiobook for the month. Then I have one arc that needs reading this month because it comes out in July, and I'm very, very excited to have it in my hands. When it arrived, I genuinely was like, how is this my life? Because that arc is The House of Fortune by Jessie Burton, which is the sequel to The Miniaturist, which I loved. I think I've given it either 4 or 5 stars both times I've read it, and this is the follow-up, and I can't even tell you anything about it or even show you the back because that will be massive spoilers for The Miniaturist. But just know it's historical fiction. We're in Amsterdam, yes, in 1705, and I am hyped. And also this cover is gorgeous. Even just the arc cover is so pretty. And this comes out, like I said, in July. I don't know if we've got a specific date. I will try and find that out. But yes, I'm going to be reading that at some point this month. And then the last book in a series that I've been really loving. All of the books have been either 4 or 5 stars. If you've been watching my channel over the last 2 months, you'll know which book I'm about to hold up. And that is Catherine Parr, The Sixth Wife. This is the last book in the Six Tudor Queens series by Alison Weir. I don't really think I need to talk about this book. It's about Catherine Parr. It's a fictionalised version of her life. I'm completely obsessed with the series. I read the first 4 books in April, whilst I had COVID. I've read Catherine Howard this month, as I'm filming, in May. And I'm going to read this in June. However, this book will be my, like, if I get through other books on my TBR, it's not going to be, like, the first on the list. This is kind of my, if I get through other books, I can pick this up. But yeah, hopefully I will get there. And yeah, I am just fully obsessed with these covers. I also love that they are numbered on the spine. It's going to look so good with the others on my bookshelf once I've read them. So yeah, there's that one. Right, let's get into the actual books that Ben chose. As I said, it's, you know, a lot of literary fiction. This is a good thing. There's a lot of literary fiction on my shelves because it's definitely the genre that I have moved into over the last year or so. Aside from historical fiction, it's the genre I read the most, and I'm really excited for these books. He chose really well. So I'm going to show you each book, and I'm going to just read the little blurb, or little reason he gave for choosing it. So first one he chose was On Earth We Are Briefly Gorgeous by Ocean Vuong. And he said, Ella gave me this a few Christmases ago. Ella is our amazing cousin. They made the circular earrings that I wear. I meant to wear them for this video actually, quite a lot, and I will link their Instagram in the description because they are amazing. So Ella gave me this a few Christmases ago, and I thought it was bloody brilliant. Wonderfully written, raw and poetic. It's such an interesting story and one of my favourite new books I've read in a while. Can't wait to read more from him. I'm not really sure if you'll love this, but I figured it was a really interesting story, and if you hate it, at least it's short. Okay, so I'm really excited for this, especially knowing that Ella also loved it because they, as I said, are just ridiculously talented and clever and intelligent, and if they thought this was good, then I'm all for it. I also saw Hilary from Melted Books really loved this as well last year, and it's got a beautiful cover, and yeah, this was a Christmas present from Ben. And yeah, excited to give that a try. The next one, I was so pleased he chose this because this has been on my list for a while. This is an author I haven't read before, and I feel like I really should have read, and I'm excited to start with this book because he chose The Emperor's Babe by Bernardine Evaristo, and he said, to be totally honest, this is also on my TBR, but I essentially wish to use you as an initial reviewer. That is absolutely fine, that is what I'm here for. So this is told in verse, yeah, it's told in verse, and it says, scroll back 1800 years to Londinium, AD 211, and slip down the side of Grace Church Street. Here roams a back alley beauty, a Polchimera babe, a Nubian knockout with tangled hair and bare feet. Like, that's all I really need to know. I think it's about a girl who gets entangled with the Emperor, and I'm just really intrigued. I've heard really good things. I can't remember who I saw talking about it, but I'm excited to give it a try. And this was a birthday gift from Riri Reader, which was amazing for my birthday, so it's very exciting. And again, it's quite a short one. These are both quite short so far. I think we're doing okay. Then he chose this book, which has been on my TBR. I think I got it for my birthday or for Christmas. Where is there no gift note? Or did I buy it myself? No, I feel like this was, oh, I think this was Leanne actually for Christmas. If I've got that wrong and it was somebody else, please let me know. And I was really excited that he chose this because I've been wanting to read it for ages. I was kind of waiting, I can't lie, I was kind of waiting for like October, November, but I feel like I'm not enough of a like seasonal reader for it to matter. So he chose Monsters, She Wrote, by Lisa Kroger and Melanie R. Anderson. And he said, I've not heard of this, and it sounds really interesting and nice to have some non-fiction on your TBR too. He's right, it's good to have a mix. So this is kind of it says horror and speculative fiction wouldn't exist without the women who created it. From forgotten visionaries like Margaret Madge Cavendish to literary icons like Mary Shelley and Shirley Jackson to modern era marvels such as Anne Rice and Helen Oyeyemi, women authors have always been at the vanguard of frightening fiction, and their life stories are as intriguing as the novels, short stories and novellas they crafted. Part biography, part reader's guide, Monsters, She Wrote will introduce you to more than 100 authors and over 200 of their mysterious and spine-tingling tales. Frankenstein was just the beginning. Meet even more terrifying monsters and the women who unleashed them. So this just sounds so good. I also can't remember who I saw talking about this because I must have seen someone talking about it. It's unlikely I picked it up at random. But how amazing is this cover? And very nice end pages. And yes, I'm very excited for this. I'm excited for all of these. That's why they're on my shelves in the first place. Okay, next up is one another one that Ben got me for Christmas, I think, or my birthday, one of the two. He usually puts post-it notes in. I think this was Christmas. And that is Golden Hill by Francis Spufford. And he said, I tried to leave this off the list and pick you something else instead, but I really think you'll enjoy this. I thought it was really immersive and I did not see the twist at the end, which I thoroughly enjoyed. I love it when he says that because usually if he doesn't see a twist, neither do I. I thought this would be something you would enjoy too. So, you know, all good reasons to be choosing things. This is more historical literary fiction. We're in New York, a small town on the tip of Manhattan Island, 1746. One rainy evening, a charming and handsome young stranger, fresh off the boat from England, pitches up to a counting house in Golden Hill Street with a suspicious yet compelling proposition. He has an order for £1,000 in his pocket that he wishes to cash, but can he be trusted? This is New York in its infancy, a place where young men with a fast tongue can invent himself afresh, fall in love, and find a world of trouble. So we will give this a try. And yeah, it looks really fun. And it was a Costa Book Award winner in 2016. Although, like everybody else, I hate these stickers that you can't take off. What is the point of that? But otherwise, beautiful cover. 2 more to go. So he also chose me some more non-fiction. Again, this is a book I've wanted to read for ages. So I was really pleased he chose it. This was gifted to me by Laura and Her Bookish Thoughts ages ago. This is Merry Christmas. Oh no, wait, that would have been last Christmas, so that's good. And that is Hood Feminism by Mickey Kendall. I saw this all over the Booktuber last year, and it was on my wish list for ages, and then obviously Laura was kind enough to buy it for me for Christmas, and I'm really intrigued to read this. And as it says on the front, notes from the women white feminists forgot. And Ben said this is not on my TBR, but it sounds very interesting, so once again I'm totally using you as an initial reviewer, so that's fine. And this is basically what it says on the tin. It says, how can feminists stand in solidarity as a movement when there is a distinct possibility that some women are oppressing others? And again, I think I've seen Hilary read this and rate this, and possibly also Amy from Nonfiction Feminist. And yeah, it's just, you know, another one of those books that I am wanting to pick up, read, learn from, remind myself of things, all of that kind of stuff. So this is also on the pile. And then the last one he chose is a properly random book that he lent me this month, and I think you'll see me borrow it in my, I think it was my, yeah, in my May wrap up, or was it April? I can't remember now. Anyway, the last book that he chose was The King's Minion by Raphael Sabatini. I mean, this is probably one of the most random books I've picked up for a long time. He said, I was really surprised by this. It feels to me as though it could have been written this decade. It's just so well written, and it gave me a clarity about James and his court. I found it very interesting and such an easy read. I thought it would be up your street too. So I don't really know much about this other than it's about James I. And that's all I know. And it was written in 1930. So we're just going to give this a try. And I think Ben lent this to me because we were talking about Macbeth, which I'm teaching to my year 10s, as I will every year for the rest of my career. And Macbeth was written for James I. It was a gift from Shakespeare to the king. So he's lent me this. So yeah, we're going to have a little go at that as well. So let's do the lift. Or 10 books. when my reading rate has been lower the last couple of months, but we're going to give it a try. I think of these, I am most excited for Monster She Wrote, The Emperor's Babe. I'm trying to read it backwards in the screen. Let's just look at them. The Emperor's Babe and On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous, and obviously the Catherine Parr book as well. But I'm excited about all of these. Massive thank you to Ben for helping choose the majority of this TBR. I'm trying to put these down without dropping. If you've made it to this point in the video, leave me a crown for the King's Minion. Wish me luck, because this is quite a lot of pages to get through. However, as I've said a few times, I am excited to give it a try. Please subscribe if you would like more of this chaos, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks everyone. Bye.